Dr. Kathy Gruver is a motivational health speaker and hosts the national TV show based on her first book, The Alternative Medicine Cabinet. She's earned her PhD in natural health and has authored 5 award-winning books, including Conquer Your Stress and Journey of Healing. She has studied mind-body medicine at the famed Benson-Henry Institute for Mind-Body Medicine at Harvard and has been featured as an expert in numerous publications, including Glamour, Fitness, Time, WebMD, Prevention, Huffington Post, and Dr. Oz's The Good Life. And she's appeared as a guest expert on over 250 radio and TV shows, and now she can add us to her repertoire. She has facilitated over 150 educational lectures around the world. In 2015, she had the privilege of creating a stress reduction program for the U.S. military. But this I find the most fascinating of all. For fun and stress relief, she does hip hop and flying trapeze. Wow, Kathy, that is some kind of recreation. How are you today?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
Good. I do workout. In fact, I worked out this morning before our interview, and I love working out. And I have to say that I also use my animals for stress relief as well. Although I do have my kitty cat, one of them, behind me. He produces this show also, and he always has to be with me when we're doing. So if you hear a meow in the background, it's because he's putting his 2 cents in.
Oh, beautiful. I hope he likes what I give him.
So, what your background is quite impressive. And of course, all the exposure you've had is amazing. But how did you actually get started in natural health? I mean, it seems like natural health has really come to the forefront in the last probably 5 to 7 years, but I know people who have been practicing it forever. So when did you get started?
Yeah, I've been one of those practicing it forever people, and for me, it was quite accidental. I was actually a theater major, and I was an actor in Hollywood for years, and I started out doing massage therapy, and that was sort of a parallel to all the acting I was doing. It was the perfect, hey, when I'm not on stage, I can see some massage client sort of things. And then when I moved to Santa Barbara, I gave up my acting career, I gave up my massage career, I gave up my production career, and I found myself here in Santa Barbara going, I ran out of careers. I don't know what to do now. And I automatically turned back to the massage. I really missed doing it. So theoretically, I started like 25 years ago, but it's really been 16 full time. And then, like so many people, I just followed the breadcrumbs. And I found that my clients were really expecting me to know about health and wellness, not just which muscle bothered them in their neck. And so I started studying more and more, and I got my master's and PhD. And then because of the acting background, I started, writing and doing workshops and radio and TV. And it's blossomed into what it is now. And it's such a thrill. I'm so happy to get to do what I do because it's all about helping people. And whether it's one-on-one or, a million to one, whatever the ratio is, I love sharing what I've learned. So it's a thrill and an honor for me to get to do that.
Well, it's interesting because, our backgrounds are very, very similar. I was a theater major in college and did mostly musicals, so I prefer dancing and singing to acting, but that was my major. And the interesting thing is you talk about massage, and my sister and my mom were massage, they followed massages like crazy, and their masseuses, they just, they love them. I have not been a massage person. I when I get down on the table, my mind is going everywhere. I find that I'm not one of those people that can just zone out. So you went through massage, and that led to this natural health, and you also use it for stress, I assume, still today. So what was that development like?
Yeah, it was a slow unfolding. I've always been very, very curious. I love reading. I devour medical books for fun. I'm that person who, when, on Facebook, they say, what book are you reading right now? I've got some technical manual of something, and everyone else is reading novels and, biographies. I started out doing massage and then it turned into somebody saying, "Hey, have you ever thought about Reiki?" And I went, "I don't know what that is." And then I started making my own herbal tinctures. Then I started looking into homeopathics. And then I started, it just became this trail of now what? Of what's
Wow,
next.
that's interesting, because uh, uh, I can't tell you that I be reading the technical book, so you've got me beat there. But I will say that, I'm taking, well, I've always done a lot of strength training and I've done always a lot of aerobics, but now with knee problems and back problems and, age problems and all the other things from all my surgeries, I've started on the Pilates Reformer, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm finding that to be quite a different thing. I mean, I'm taking it slowly because I still love the strength training. But I've also been thinking about massage, and I'm just wondering how effective would massage be for someone like me who's got a lot of body issues because of all the surgeries that I've had, um, compared to the stretching and the reformer and the strength training and all of that? How often do you suggest people get a massage, and how effective are they?
Oh, massage is so fabulous, and especially with everything you just told me. If you have something called trigger points, which are similar to knots, but once they're in there, you can't stretch out a trigger point. You have to get that worked out with a massage therapist. So it's going to help your range of motion. It's going to help your muscles heal quicker. It's going to help with joint pain. It's great for relaxing. It releases all those feel-good hormones like oxytocin, that one that when women are pregnant and giving birth, that I love everybody feeling. That's what massage does. It is so great for removing toxins. So to me, it goes hand in hand with the regimen that you're talking about, which sounds perfect, beautifully balanced. And I'm so glad to hear that you're still moving your body and that you've adapted to that, because so many people say, oh, I can't run anymore. And so they don't do anything. And I think it's so great, especially as we get older, to adapt our activity so that we can still move and we can still be healthy, but we're not hurting ourselves. At some point, I'm going to have to get off the trapeze, because just, of course, though, I know people in their 70s and early 80s who are still doing it. So we can adapt it, though. I'm not going to be doing the crazy tricks that I'm doing now, or what I would have done when I was 20. So to me, it's about adapting, and it's about finding an activity that you really enjoy doing. I don't like to run, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to set the time aside to do it, but I will dance 4 or 5 days a week. So to me, the massage goes hand in hand, and I applaud you for adapting your activity and making sure you're still moving. That's fabulous.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do if I didn't do that. I'm a 7 day a week, at least an hour to 2 hour workout person. So yeah, I know, and I'm always the oldest one, of course, wherever I go. But what I'm wondering about is, I can see maybe how you do hip hop. Although I tell you, that is one dance. I am a dancer. I cannot do hip hop. It totally floors me. How did you start on the trapeze?
Oh, yeah, that was so much. I mean, I love dancing too. I grew up doing ballet and tap and jazz. And so when I first went to hip hop, I really looked like an idiot. I looked like I was doing Swan Lake and everybody else was ready for a gang fight. I'm like, I do not fit in here. The trapeze came out of, I'm very much an adventure seeker, and I say yes to pretty much everything. Like, I want to experience that. I want to try that. What does that feel like? What does that do? What is that? And so I was talking to a client, brand new. She said, "Wow, I was on your website. You do so much stuff. Do you have any time for fun?" And I said, "Oh, yeah." I said, "My husband and I have been spelunking and rappelling and ziplining and whitewater rafting and swimming with sharks and swimming with dolphins." I went through the whole thing. And she looks at me and she goes, "My God, what's left on your bucket list?" And I said, "Well, to me, I don't really believe in a bucket list. I think people write a bucket list and they shove it in a drawer and they only look at it when they're, 90 or they're terminal and they realize they're not getting to do all the stuff they wanted to do. To me, if there's something I want to do and I can, afford it and it's reasonable, uh, I go do it." And she said, "Okay, what haven't you gotten to?" And I said, "I have always wanted to try flying trapeze." And as the words came out of my mouth, I realized, oh, better get on it because now I've said it. And if I don't do it, then I guess I really don't want to. Uh, and I literally, she's changing her clothes after the massage, and I'm trying to find a place to do trapeze. And I thought it would be this one-off thing. I thought, I'd do it once and be like, okay, cool. No, totally addicted. So it's been about 3 years now. I'm on just coming off injured reserve. I broke my finger in October, so I'm
Oh,
just finishing my recovery with that, and then I'm gonna be back on there in the next week or two.
and is it that easy to find a place that does that?
No, I'm in Santa Barbara, which is about an hour and a half north of Los Angeles in California, and I have to go all the way down to Santa Monica, which is sometimes a 2-hour ride, and then you got to park, and then you got to walk. It's not simple, but there's of all of all the ironies, it's called trapeze.net, which I think is kind of funny, and you can find a trapeze rig near you. They're all over the world, so depending
Amazing.
on yeah, it's really cool. Depending on where you are in the country, you can find a rig near you and play. It's a blast. It's an absolute blast.
So how did you now then decide to get into speaking and writing to complement your business?
Yeah, it was interesting. I had read an article in a massage magazine saying a great way to promote your business is to write articles. An article on how to write an article. And I went, oh, well, that's true. And my husband's he's a writer. He like writes full time. That's his job. But I started doing some local articles in some little local magazines and things, and to promote my massage practice. And then I started doing national articles or contributing to those as an expert. And I thought, well, that's not really promoting my massage practice, but it's certainly getting my name out. And I had told somebody that I used to be an actor and that I was really interested in doing some public speaking, and they said, well, you have a book, right? And I said, well, no, what do you mean? And they said, well, you can't be a speaker without a book. And so I thought, I guess I'm going to write a book. So again, it was following those breadcrumbs. And I guess I like writing because I've now got 5. But the speaking came very naturally, and that's the next phase of my life is sort of tapering off my massage practice and really doing the speaking full time. I just did my first TED Talk, so thrilled about that. And yeah, it's building up quickly. It's building up quickly. So it was that unfolding of things and me just saying yes.
Well,
So
it's interesting. TED Talks are really difficult because you've got what? Well, I've heard everything from 8 to 12 to 14 minutes, but
yeah.
it's hard to get what you want said in that amount of time. And yet, you really can, and you can be very impactful when you do it. So,
Yes.
so who do you speak to? What's your demographic? Who loves to hear Kathy? And what are you talking about when you speak to these?
hmm Yeah, I'm mainly talking about stress. That's really what my message has become. One of my books is titled "Conquer Your Stress," and that's really the basis of a lot of my workshops. I talk about general inspiration as well and motivation, positivity, nutrition. So my normal audience is anything. Stress applies to everybody. So I've spoken with nurses and at really specific medical like support groups. So whether it's a cancer support group, scleroderma, American Heart Association, all the way up to I'm just about to leave to go speak to a firemen's association about stress. I do a lot of work with 911 dispatchers, nurses, teachers, students, pretty much everybody across the board. Everybody needs some stress reduction. It does not escape any industry, any age, race, sex, creed, sexual orientation. It just everybody's dealing with it. So anything I can do to help in that regard. It tends to be a lot of women. So unless it's a business thing where you kind of have to be there, mostly women because they tend to be the ones that want to be proactive with that usually. But yeah, so the stress, nutrition. Everything I know, I process through and then spit it out to other people. That's the whole reason I do this.
That's interesting because I consider myself a non-stressed person. Not that I don't have stress at times,
Sure.
but I think everything I do, of course, I love what I do. So everything I do, I think contributes to the fact that I don't have stress. Plus, I love my animals, and they I think are, although they can be stressful at times.
Oh yeah.
I think that they're not. I think they're more healers than they are stressors. But I do note. I think it's very interesting that on the times that I have been on the massage table, or when I am sometimes just lying down in bed, I can feel my body tight. So I don't know if that's because something's going on internally that I'm not acknowledging or whatever. But I do think a lot of people cause their own stress. And I wonder how you feel about that, because I think that I think one of the things you said is that women are more apt to listen to what you have to say. But I also think women are under a lot of stress because they're playing so many roles. As a matter of fact, I just read some news today about a woman's day where no woman goes to work. And what will businesses be like then, if
Mhm.
no woman shows up for work that day? So I'm just wondering, I think men have stress, but they don't necessarily acknowledge it. So what are your feelings about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I completely agree with you. We all have stress. There's no way to escape the stress. Just waking up in the morning, just